In hip-hop, larger-than-life personalities aren't just common, they're expected. But few embodied that more than Sean Diddy Combs. Mogul, innovator, hitmaker. For decades, he was the face of luxury and success in rap culture. Yet in 2025, the man once called the godfather of hip-hop entrepreneurship is not headlining award shows or hosting billion-dollar parties. Instead, he's been sentenced to 4 years in federal prison. The fall of Diddy isn't just another celebrity scandal. It's a cultural earthquake, shaking the music industry, redefining power in entertainment, and leaving fans asking how one of the most influential figures in rap could end up here. But to understand how Diddy went from the top of the world to a federal inmate, you have to rewind through the rise, the whispers, the trial, and the sentence that stunned millions.
Sean Combs was born in Harlem in 1969. His father, associated with the street life, was murdered when Sean was just 3 years old, an early tragedy that shaped him. Raised by his mother, he grew up surrounded by the realities of struggle, but with a relentless ambition to make something of himself. In the late 1980s, he attended Howard University in Washington, D.C., but dropped out after 2 years to pursue music. His big break came when he landed an internship at Uptown Records. By his early 20s, he was already known for his ear for talent and tireless work ethic. After being fired from Uptown, Combs launched his own label in 1993, Bad Boy Records. The timing couldn't have been more perfect. That same year, he signed Christopher Wallace, better known as the Notorious B.I.G., whose debut Ready to Die became a cornerstone of hip-hop history. From there, Diddy built a dynasty. Bad Boy wasn't just a label, it was a movement. Faith Evans, Mace, 112, Total. The roster read like a greatest hits playlist of 1990s R&B and hip-hop. Combs wasn't just behind the scenes either. As Puff Daddy, he became a chart-topping artist himself, with hits like I'll Be Missing You and Can't Nobody Hold Me Down. By the 2000s, Diddy had expanded beyond music. He launched Sean John, his clothing line, which became a staple of urban fashion. He made deals in liquor, media, and television, hosting Making the Band and appearing as a regular in pop culture. At his peak, Forbes estimated his net worth in the hundreds of millions, making him one of the wealthiest men in music. He was seen as untouchable, a man who turned tragedy into triumph, who defined the image of black success in America. But even at the height of his empire, there were cracks in the foundation. Diddy's career wasn't without controversy. Over the years, there were nightclub incidents, lawsuits, and allegations of violence. But most were settled quietly or dismissed, and his empire rolled on. Then came Cassie Ventura. In 2023, the singer, who had been romantically linked to Diddy for over a decade, filed a shocking lawsuit. In it, she accused him of years of abuse, coercion, and exploitation. The case was settled within 24 hours, sparking speculation that Diddy paid millions to make it go away. But the damage was done. Suddenly, whispers that had circulated for years were now seen in a different light. Other women began coming forward. More lawsuits piled up, alleging patterns of manipulation, violence, and exploitation. And then, in early 2024, federal agents raided his homes in Los Angeles and Miami. Images of heavily armed officers storming the mansions went viral. For many, it was the first real sign that this wasn't just gossip anymore, it was a criminal investigation. The empire was starting to wobble. The breaking point came in September 2024, when a federal grand jury handed down a sweeping indictment against Sean Combs. The charges were staggering: racketeering conspiracy, sex trafficking, prostitution-related offenses, and transportation across state lines for illicit purposes. Prosecutors painted a picture of a man who, behind the luxury lifestyle and million-dollar parties, orchestrated something far darker. They accused Diddy of arranging what witnesses described as freak-offs, drug-fueled encounters involving escorts flown across state lines. The indictment suggested this wasn't occasional behavior, but a system. For a man once celebrated at the Grammys and praised at the White House, the indictment was a brutal fall from grace. Headlines blared, industry peers distanced themselves, business deals evaporated, and Diddy himself, once untouchable, was now facing the possibility of decades in prison. The trial began in early 2025 and became one of the most closely watched cases in music history. While cameras weren't allowed inside the courtroom, daily reports detailed every twist. Former girlfriends and associates took the stand, offering stories of manipulation, control, and coercion. Prosecutors described a man who lived a double life: mogul on the surface, predator behind closed doors. Defense attorneys argued that many of these encounters were consensual. They painted Diddy as a target, a wealthy celebrity who people wanted to take down. The testimonies were graphic. Cassie Ventura testified along with another woman known only as Jane, describing humiliating and violent situations. On July 2, 2025, the jury returned its verdict. Diddy was acquitted of the most serious charges, racketeering and sex trafficking. But he was convicted on 2 counts of violating the Mann Act, arranging for women to cross state lines for prostitution. It wasn't the maximum blow prosecutors wanted, but it was still enough to ensure prison time. On October 3, 2025, Sean Combs returned to court for sentencing. Prosecutors pushed for more than a decade in prison, pointing to the seriousness of the crimes and the impact on victims. The defense asked for just 14 months, citing the year he had already served awaiting trial. When given the chance to speak, Diddy did something unexpected. He broke down in tears. He admitted he had done wrong, saying he hated the man he had become. He apologized to the women who had come forward and to his family. Some saw the apology as genuine, others saw it as performance, but the judge wasn't swayed entirely. The final sentence, 50 months in prison, just over 4 years, plus a $500,000 fine and 5 years of supervised release. The courtroom gasped. It was lighter than many expected, but still a devastating fall for a man who once ruled hip-hop. The reaction outside was immediate and divided. Some argued the sentence was too short, proof that wealth and power still protect the elite. Others felt it was a moment of long overdue accountability. Cassie Ventura released a statement saying she felt vindicated, though saddened that so much suffering had to happen first. Advocacy groups hailed the verdict as a step forward in holding powerful men accountable. In the music industry, the fallout was swift. Diddy's liquor deals collapsed. His partnerships in fashion and media dissolved. His once mighty empire was crumbling in real time. On social media, fans were split. Some continued to defend him, citing his legacy and contributions. Others turned away, unable to separate the man from the accusations. What was once a celebration of his success was now a debate over how much of that success came at the expense of others. Diddy's story is now a cautionary tale. For decades, he was the face of hip-hop's rise into global dominance, a businessman who brought rap into the mainstream. But now his name is tied to scandal, crime, and disgrace. His empire is fractured. His reputation is shattered. Civil lawsuits still loom, and appeals may follow. Even if he serves his time and walks free, Diddy will never again occupy the same place in music history. And yet, his case has already reshaped the industry. It's a warning to those who believe fame and fortune provide immunity. It's proof that even the most powerful can fall. For the fans, the industry, and the culture at large, the message is clear. No one is above accountability.
Your daddy got 4 years.
From Harlem streets to music mogul, from billionaire lifestyle to federal inmate, Sean Diddy Combs lived the American dream and then destroyed it. His story is no longer just about hit records, fashion lines, or wealth. It's about abuse of power, the voices of victims, and the collapse of an empire. The real question isn't whether Diddy will survive his prison sentence. It's whether his legacy can ever survive the truth. And for hip-hop, it's a reminder that even the kings of the culture can lose their crowns.
There is a human being now in custody for 50 months.
Diddy was just sharing.